Ian versus Daddy Bones, we're opening up some Masterverse Rulers of the Sun.
Oh boy, kids, we're gonna have fun today.
Yay! Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Hey! Alright!
Epic roast.
Welcome back! It's another exciting episode of Ian versus Daddy Bones. I am Ian Daddy Bones. Thank you for tuning into the show today. Say what's up to all the YouTube subscribers. Give a special high five and a knuck tap to all the Patreon subscribers. Giving me $1 a month for 30 days of bonus content and getting your name in the credits. Or you're subscribing for $5 a month, which also includes the Original Geeks podcast, a second show that I also host monthly. That's exclusive and only available on the Ian vs. Daddy Bones Patreon. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about something epic. We're going to be talking about two Rulers of the Sun figures that I have available in Masterverse form. And I'm going to be opening up Sunman and Pighead. But before we get started on that, I want to go back to last week's episode. Last week's episode, when I started off, I was talking about everything that went down at San Diego Comic-Con this year as far as Mattel's announcements for Masters of the Universe Origins, Masterverse, you know what I mean? I talked about sneak peeks of upcoming Masters of the Universe Origins figures like Lady Slither and Fangor, who, as a matter of fact, today, live during this show, as I film it, Fangor is going to be dropping today at noon, 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. And he's going to be dropping at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Time. But Mattel Creations drop going down today for Fangor. And Fangor is an original character that wasn't around during the vintage era of Masters of the Universe, but during the Masters of the Universe Classics era, Fangor was created by artist Axel Jimenez, actually, my bad. I found that out after the fact. Last week I was talking about him, and I found out after the fact when I was actually watching a Pixel Dan video, and when I heard Pixel Dan pronounce his name, I'm like, oh fuck, I completely said his last name wrong. But he was created, and he got a figure during the Masters of the Universe Classics era. So there is a Classics figure of Fangor, and basically he's the weaponsmith of the Snake Men. He's basically like the man-at-arms of the Snake Men, and Fangor has two fangs in the front. And I believe the Classics figure had two heads. You had one head that had the short fangs, and then you had the alternate head that had the extended walrus-like saber-toothed tiger long fangs in the front. But the Masters of the Universe Origins Fangor has a pop-out, like dentures-like short fangs that pop out, and then he has the longer fangs that pop in. And he comes with his weapons and accessories, and he comes on the regular Masters of the Universe Origins blister card. And like Mattel Creations figures, he has the back artwork, and the back of his artwork basically shows Fangor facing off against Hero, who has not been released in Masters of the Universe Origins yet. And there's also Lady Slither in the bottom corner. And at the same time, in the background, you get to see the Snake Men's lair, which in vintage times has always been like, when Skeletor took over Snake Mountain, he actually moved into someone else's house because Snake Mountain was originally where King Hiss and the Snake Men resided before they got banished. And now there's Preternia, the back in the day Snake Men. So back in the day before Snake Mountain, this is where the Snake Men resided. And there's rumors going around the internet right now that this snake layer could very well be the next Masters of the Universe crowdfund on Mattel Creations after Eternia gets released next year. That's rumor, speculations, allegations, hearsay. Nothing's fact as of right now, but that would definitely be fucking awesome if we did get this snake layer. And my honest opinion, it'll be fucking great if it does come out. However, I would like to see other Masters of the Universe playsets get released. I mean, basically, you got Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, Eternia's been crowdfunded, Eternia's coming out next year. Those are three of the most iconic Masters of the Universe playsets. However, you still have the Horde Fright Zone, and you also have the Evil Horde Slime Pit. So, those are two playsets that haven't come out yet. So I would rather crowdfund the two Evil Horde playsets. You know what I mean? Like, if you crowdfund this, you reach the next tier, they're going to include that. But, that's wishful thinking, as is Mattel releasing this snake layer as a crowdfund. A lot of people on the internet are talking about it, want it to happen. We'll see what happens next year, because as of right now, nothing's going to happen in 2023. Anything related with the snake layer is either going to come out 2024, 2025 at the latest, if we hear anything at all. But that's what the fun is with this line and collecting everything, is half of the time it's the wishful thinking and the speculation, and people are just having a ball with it. And as long as they're talking about it and buying the product, the brand is surviving, it's thriving, it's living, it's growing, and expanding. And honestly, at the age of 44, I'm having a fucking time of my life with this shit. So, keeping my fingers crossed, keeping my toes crossed, keeping my balls crossed that I'm successful getting a Fangor today. I know my homie Andy Header is going to be going for Fangor. I know my homie Jim is going to be going for Fangor. My buddy Jay is going to be trying to get Fangor for me. And if Jay is not successful in getting Fangor, no hard feelings. Jay works nights. Jay works the third shift. So the fact that Jay's still awake to have the time to try and snag me a figure in the event that I'm unsuccessful, I'm truly fucking grateful that I have Jay trying to hunt one down for me. So I'll know where Jay's at when I get closer to launch time for Fangor to drop. But I will definitely let y'all know on this episode. By the time the show is over, you are going to know if I'm successful or not, and whether or not I got a Fangor. But the reason I'm talking about last week before I'm starting to crack these guys open is because the one major thing that I forgot on last week's show was one of the big announcements with Masters of the Universe Origins is I said that Mattel said that starting next year in 2024, the remaining figures of Masters of the Universe Origins and the vintage line is moving exclusively to Mattel Creations. However, what's going to happen at retail is there's going to be a brand new retail sub-brand within Masters of the Universe Origins, and what we're getting is Masters of the Universe, the Cartoon Collection. Now, the Cartoon Collection is basically the Filmation figures from the 1983 He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoon. We're getting new figures based on the likeness of the figures from the cartoon, which is what they never looked like in the 80s. You had the vintage Masters of the Universe toys, you had the cartoon, but none of the figures look like the cartoon characters. Basically, Man-at-Arms not having a mustache, Man-at-Arms having a mustache. You know what I mean? Teela looking how she does an action figure form, and then Teela being fucking ginger and bright redhead in the cartoon. And, you know, there's certain elements from the Filmation cartoon that carried over to the vintage toy line and became canon, like Orko. There's also characters from the Filmation series that never got figures in the 80s. So this line is going to focus on Filmation, even though it's being made clear from the start Mattel does not have a deal with Filmation, and or they don't have the right to use the Filmation name, which is why Mattel has came up with Cartoon Collection in the same font style as Filmation's logo. So the first wave is being introduced of like He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, Teela, Beastman, and Trapjaw. So we're going to be getting the figures as they looked in the cartoon. Now, me as a collector, I enjoyed the Masters of the Universe cartoon. Like, when it was in syndication, it was a staple of my everyday cartoon watching. When I would get dropped off at the babysitters and whatnot and interact with other kids, we'd sit around the TV and watch whatever was on TV until, like, you know, game shows and 12 o'clock news and then soap operas and whatnot. And so, you know, I have fond memories of the Masters of the Universe cartoon. However, as I get older, I'm not a fan of the Filmation style. I love the cartoon, but at the same time, especially after looking at other Filmation properties and cartoons that Filmation put out, there's a lot of the artwork was reused, especially with like women's facial animations. Like, you could take Teela's facial expressions and look at other female characters and other Filmation lines, and you could see where they had the same mouth, the same eyes, the same nose, and it's just like back in the day, copy paste. So that's why I'm not too fond of the Filmation art style. So I wasn't the biggest fan of the art style for the Filmation cartoon, even though I absolutely loved everything to do with it. But at the core, it's still Masters of the Universe. You know what I mean? And back in the 80s, with the toy line being born in 1981, and 2 years later we have a fucking cartoon that's really not bad. So, given the circumstances, it was all I had, and I fucking loved it. But after the past 3 years, though, of buying Origins and now Masterverse, I don't want to start a brand new line where I have to start buying He-Man and Man-at-Arms and Teela and shit, because there's already other variant versions. Like, there's already another Man-at-Arms and a Teela coming out for Masterverse after I just got done buying another Man-at-Arms and a Teela. You know what I'm saying? I just bought 3 fucking Evil Lins for Masterverse, for crying out loud. I don't want to buy a 4th one in the cartoon collection. But that comes with the territory of collecting action figures and making decisions and shit like that. But for me, I've been having a blast collecting Origins, collecting Masterverse, and even crossing over. I've had a blast collecting the Mario Brothers and the Ninja Turtles and the WWE Elites and even the WWE Superstars and the He-Man bodies, which pisses me off because I have like the first 3 waves of the WWE Superstars, but I have not seen waves 4 or 5 in the stores at all, and I'm hearing they're getting up to 6 and 7, with like 8 and 9 being announced at Comic-Con and shit. There's like so many WWE Superstars He-Man vintage scale figures coming out that it's absolutely fucking crazy. But moving on, getting to the meat and potatoes of this show, I'm going to be opening up the Masterverse Sunman and Masterverse Pighead figures. But before I do, I just want to mention this real quick. This is the Masters of the Universe Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun 3-pack. Now, I'm mentioning this on the show. I am not opening this today on the show. This I plan on keeping in the box and throwing on the shelf back home with my shit. But this 3-pack has been basically chilling at Target since fucking October of last year. So basically the entire life of the show for Ian versus Daddy Bones. This thing has been sitting at Target, priced at $50, and I never wound up grabbing it at Target because I had Pighead, I have Sunman, and I have Space Sumo. Sunman I got with Wave 8 last year. Sunman I got with Wave 9 last year. And Space Sumo I wound up grabbing last year through Mattel Creations. So I have him I have him mint on card in a box, and I have these two open and loose back home after opening them on the show. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I did not open Sunman on Ian versus Daddy Bones. I opened Pighead, but yeah, basically they've had this for $50 for the past 10 months at Target. I've been waiting for it to drop in price to like $25 and even lower. So I've been holding out for the longest time, not wanting to pay full price for this, only because I already have the 3 characters. So since I already have the 3 characters, I'm looking at it like I want to pay less than $30 for this. So thankfully, after holding out for the longest time, Target finally put it on clearance for $16. So without hesitation, I grabbed the nicest looking one, and I threw it in my cart. But yeah, it's a 3-pack of Sunman, Pighead, and Space Sumo. Now these are the same figures that came, on their own card back. It's the same Space Sumo that's in the Mattel Creations. The only thing you don't get is the shipper box, and you don't get the mint on card with the artwork on the back. But these 3 figures also contain some Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun artwork that's visible behind the 3 figures that's not available with the single peg releases. Now, I will say that while they're available separately, this particular Sunman does have an alternate head, and he has an alternate head. Now, the thing with Sunman is the Sunman figure that came with that was released in Wave 8 of Masters of the Universe Origins. That Sunman figure was based on the vintage Sunman figure that was created and sold at mom and pop shops and whatnot back in the day. Now I've opened a lot of Rulers of the Sun figures over the course of Ian versus Daddy Bones. I did a whole episode on Rulers of the Sun where I talked about Sunman and Pighead, and so those episodes are up on the YouTube channel. So go and check that shit out if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's the whole thing with Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun has a wonderful backstory to it, and I told that story on previous episodes. And also there's some Patreon bonus footage where I open up other Rulers of the Sun figures that got released within Masters of the Universe Origins. So I don't want to basically rehash stuff that I already talked about. I want to keep it going. But basically, with Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun, at one time, it was considered a bootlegged product that was meant to blend in with your He-Man and the Masters of the Universe figures. It was not made by Mattel. It was made by Olmec Toys. And, to a degree, it can be considered underground. So Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun was basically meant to be absorbed within Masters of the Universe or even similar sized toy brands. And Sunman was created as a toy, so black children had something to relate to, because that's what the core of Sunman's creation was. The woman who created Sunman had a son who was given Masters of the Universe figures, but because he was black and He-Man was white, he couldn't really relate to the Masters of the Universe characters because there was no black character at the time. Sunman was created by his mom. He was put into production. He was sold locally, and word got around, and people bought Sunman. But at the same time, Mattel caught wind of it and whatnot, and it was shut down. So, long story short, fast forward to 40 years later, And in celebration of Masters of the Universe 40th anniversary, Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun gets absorbed officially within the brand. Now, with the way modern America is, you got your fair share of racists in the country. So a lot of Masters of the Universe fans have been voicing their displeasure over the course of the past year, because why is Mattel shoving this shit down our throats? This has nothing to do with Masters of the Universe. Why is Mattel going woke? And it's just funny seeing a bunch of grown-ass men fucking crying and complaining over the skin color of an action figure that has a wonderful backstory and a history behind it. It's like a child complaining because the food's touching the other fucking food on their plate. You know what I mean? You just got a bunch of racist ass crybabies that you could just assume without making an ass out of you, and you could automatically assume who they voted for, and that's what makes it so fucking hilarious, because the same people that have been crying and bitching about Rulers of the Sun is the same fucking people that are crying and complaining over the skin color of an animated mermaid, and they're the same fucking people that spent the majority of their summer crying and blowing up their Bud Light cans. So you can tell exactly how they're gonna fucking react to Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun being absorbed and integrated within Masters of the Universe. I think it's fucking hilarious. But honestly, overall, like I said, I love the backstory behind it, and I think the characters are interesting to where they could blend in and line up with the other figures within Masters of the Universe. And you know, to me, being a fan of Masters of the Universe and professional wrestling, looking at Masters of the Universe, you know, all the fucking characters are fresh. There's no jobbers in Masters of the Universe. And that's the thing, even with throwing Rulers of the Sun figures into the mix, there ain't no jobbers. But the one funny thing I think's hilarious, with everybody that's been crying and complaining over the Sunman characters over the past year, because like over the past couple of waves to get the Sunman characters released, like they put Sunman in wave 8, Pighead in wave 9, they did like Digitino in wave 10, and then they did like other Sunman characters up until the Snake Men got released, and then Space Sumo got the Mattel Creations treatment, and they put out the 3-pack. But at the same time, one of the reasons I think this 3-pack is now on clearance is because they're trying to get rid of the inventory, because with the remaining Masters of the Universe Origin stuff that's supposed to drop this year, there's another 3-pack that has the final 3 Rulers of the Sun figures in a 3-pack, and I believe that's Holographo, Zapman, and Kikno are going to be the 3 characters in the new 3-pack. So either that's going to be put on clearance in no time, or that's also going to sit for the next 10 fucking months on the shelf at full price and not drop between less than 30, but at the same time, going into the new 3-pack, I have no problem paying full price, and I have no problem paying $30 for it if it's on sale, because they're 3 characters that are not getting single peg releases. And yeah, so you got another 3-pack coming out. But going back real quick, one final thing to end it. The funny thing about all the Rulers of the Sun figures that have been coming out that people have been bitching and complaining about, the one figure that everybody is going apeshit for right now and nobody can seem to find is Duplico. And basically what Duplico is, he's basically like the Cody Rhodes looking multiple man. You know what I mean? He's the token white boy of the Rulers of the Sun. So of course everybody that's been bitching and complaining about the Asian guy and the black guy and the Indian guy and the Hispanic guy, you know, the one guy that they want is the fucking saltine cracker. So Cody Rhodes looking multiple man is apparently extremely hard to find right now. Apparently he's exclusive to Walmart, but I haven't seen him in any of our Walmarts. But apparently he's also going to be showing up in Target real soon, which is going to be making it easier to find Duplico, so he's not going to be as much as a fucking scattered treasure that people are making him out to be right now. I just think it's funny that the side of the fan base that's calling everybody snowflakes is the people that have been getting so offended and crying about Rulers of the Sun over the past year that of course it makes sense that the white guy of the group is the one that they want so bad. But enough about the crybabies that ruin it for everyone. Let's have some fun and get to the real topic of this week's episode. And let's open up some Masterverse figures. We're going to start off with the Masterverse Rulers of the Sun Pighead figure. Now, the back of his box bio says, Pighead, wicked enemy is Sunman. The Rulers of the Sun punished Prince Zegor of House Shadis for his cruelty, banished him to the shadows, and transformed him into Pighead, half man, half pig. Now he has one goal: steal the energy from the first sun so that he might harness its power and rule the galaxy. Only one man stands in his way: Sunman. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Real quick before I open this up, looks extremely badass in his packaging. I always love that, the way they have them posed in the box, and on the side it says, Pighead, wicked enemy of Sunman. There's some nice art on the side of the box. And of course you got the beautiful art in the back. Now Sunman is part of Wave 8 of Masterverse that includes the Sorceress, Manny Faces, Shadow Weaver, and Pighead. Manny Faces has been opened up on Ian vs. Daddy Bones. So make sure you check out that episode and give it a share if you would, please. Support the brand. Always at all costs. Alright, let's cut his little restraints. Actually, the scissors will work better. Let's not cut my finger. Yay. Turn around his feet. They really got his shield in there tight. But, let's pop out his ball and chain weapon. I can't, because there's another plastic tie holding that in place. There we go. Now it's loose. Pighead comes with this translucent blue spiked ball on a chain mace weapon. Oh, okay, sweet. I like this a lot better now. For some reason, this in the plastic looked like it was molded as one piece, like the tail was connected to the body. I didn't know it was like a full jelly snake until I took it out. But yeah, let's see here. Let's go ahead and get him out. He looks like a fucking badass. All right. Pighead's coming out quite easily. There he goes. His shield went flying. Oh, sweet. He's got like a gummy jelly plastic handle to hold his shield, unlike Battle Armor He-Man that had like the stiff plastic. Let's see here. Let's move his little joints around so I can get him to stand. That knee bends, that foot bends. What a sick figure. Got his armor. sick figure. I just gotta get him to fucking stand. He doesn't want to stand up. Alright, I'll say that's my only complaint at the moment is he doesn't exactly want to stand up, but real quick, I could put his weapon in his arm. Now, he's got his armor, but it doesn't exactly want to stay on. But, cool thing is, it's actually not bad. Cool thing is he's got this gummy snake that wraps around his neck and chills there, kind of like Damien with Jake the Snake Roberts. Actually looks pretty fucking fresh. The thing is, he doesn't really want to stand up. Well, I guess to a degree. There he is standing. But before I open Sunman, I have an accessory for Sunman. And that accessory is this Storm Collectibles action figure stand. Now, Storm Collectibles is another company that makes their own toys, and their toys are absolutely great. I've known Storm's Collectibles has done like Street Fighter shit and like Mortal Kombat shit, and even like other freaking brands, and but their figures are like statue-like, you know what I mean? Like they're really fucking not meant to be played with at all. Keyword is Storm Collectibles. So yeah, they also have their own brand of stands, and I can say for the purpose of my Masterverse figures, like when it comes to like the Dark Evil Lynn, God Lynn, I have her on a stand, and I found that to be absolutely helpful when it came to displaying that character, because it made it look like she's levitating up in the air and shit. And when I got Masterverse Stratos in a shipment of toys, I wasn't exactly having the greatest day, so I was kind of pissed off that day. So in order to get over whatever it is that was frustrating me, I decided I needed some toy therapy. So by giving myself some toy therapy, I decided to crack open that Masterverse Stratos figure off camera at my house, and it was pretty fucking fresh. So I opened that Stratos figure, and since Stratos had his wings and was a flying character, I also bought one of these stands for Stratos, because as you can see, it's easy to assemble. It just clips right together, and it's got this ring that goes around the waist, whatever character you want to display and make it look like they're up in the air. And it's pretty fucking fresh because, you know, there's all sorts of uses you can get with these type of stands. Like, there's so many characters that can make amazing poses that you can capitalize on with a stand like this. Like, like a Superman figure, you could make it look like, you know, Superman's flying, and you have him on a fucking stand, so he's like chilling there. Or you can make it look like Spider-Man's fighting somebody and he's shooting webs, you know what I mean? So you got it around Spider-Man's waist, and you could pose his arms and shit to make it look like he's up in the air and he's shooting webs at whoever the fuck, you know? For example, too, something else I thought was neat. WWE just put out an Ultimate Edition AJ Styles figure that I'm actually going to be keeping my eyes on if I see it on sale. But they got this AJ Styles figure that comes with an alternate head. And if you look at it in the package, the AJ Styles head has like this wacky hairstyle where his hair's all long and sticking out and shit. And it just looks kind of fucking weird. And you're like looking at it like, why the fuck did they make his head like that? Because the reality is, they made that head to be an alternate head for AJ Styles for the purpose of people that display their action figures that may want to put that AJ Styles figure on a stand and giving you this alternate head, basically saying, hey, we're going to help you out with this one. So this is an alternate AJ Styles head that you pop on in the event that you want to pose your AJ Styles figure where like he's flipped upside down hitting his opponent with a Pele kick. So that's what AJ Styles' hair would look like if he was upside down and his head, you're looking at his face upside down. That's how gravity would naturally have his fucking hair in. It's just like that attention to detail is so amazing and so fresh. And it's one of those little things that I really enjoy about hunting action figures, or even seeing shit that I'm not interested in buying, but just seeing the attention to detail that they really put into these toys / collectibles, whatever you want to fucking call it. So them going above and beyond with that extra AJ Styles head just to put him in that pose is absolutely sick. So I got this stand for Sunman. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Sunman. But before I do, I'm going to give myself a quick edit break. I'm going to go get something to drink real quick. I'm going to go take a piss. And I'm going to get ready for Fangor to drop on Mattel Creations. So I will let you know if I'm successful, which I'm hoping I will be, shortly in a little bit on Ian versus Daddy Bones. Alright, we are back, and I can officially say, mission successful. I was able to grab 2 Fangor figures. I don't know when he's going to be shipped, but he should be shipping soon. And speaking of shipping soon, the Masters of the Universe Masterverse motherboard figure has officially shipped. I should have her this coming weekend. So in an upcoming episode, available only for Patreon subscribers, I'm going to be opening up that Masterverse motherboard figure when she arrives safely. But right now, let's crack open this Sunman. Now this Sunman, the greatest hero of them all. And the back of his packaging says, Sunman, the greatest hero of them all. In the world of Trifixa, Prince Suni harnesses the power of the first sun to transform into Sunman. His magical melanin skin gives him unequaled, unlimited, and special super strength in his fight. Oh, there's actually a fucking error with the text in the back. It says, in special super strength in his fight against the wicked ones for fairness and equality throughout the universe, sun power. It actually says the words in his twice. Somebody should have fucking proofread that shit. But he's part of the wave that includes Battle Armor He-Man, Hero, and Jitsu. All 3 of those figures have been opened up here on Ian versus Daddy Bones. So I'm going to go ahead and crack open this Sunman figure. Let's see here. Alright, his tape's cracked. There we go. Now I have been looking forward to opening this figure, and I will explain everything once I get him out of the packaging. First, let's get his weapon out. Dude looks fucking sick. Now, I ordered him back in February. He's just been chilling on my shelf with the rest of his rest of the Masterverse figures. shield just pops out. Which is weird. He's got the plastic, hard plastic on his shield for his handle, whereas Pighead has like the gummy, pliable plastic. Alright, let's be careful with his wings. Alright, there we fucking go, and that's what I'm talking about. That's what looks fucking absolutely sick. He's got these fucking wings. Doesn't want to stay up on the one side. That looks fucking sick. See, that's what I was looking forward to most of all with this figure, was that impressive fucking wingspan. Because now, real quick, while I fuck around with Sunman, you may notice there's a Shawn Michaels figure that's here on the table that wasn't here when I opened up Pighead. That's because when I opened up the Pighead figure and looked at the clock while I was getting ready for Fangor to drop on Mattel Creations. I actually had like 30 minutes to kill. I just wanted to make sure I had more than enough time to prepare for the Mattel Creations drop. I decided to film a Facebook reel where I opened up that Shawn Michaels figure. Alright, now. Alright, unfortunately, he doesn't want to fucking. He doesn't want to hold his shield. Actually, you know what? Let me try. Basically, I decided to film a Facebook reel opening up that Shawn Michaels figure because that's part of the SummerSlam wave of figures that contain the Dominic Mysterio parts, who I'm in the process of building, even though I don't plan on building Dominic Mysterio himself. The purpose of me putting together the figure is because I just want the Dominic Mysterio action figure body to put another head on. So thanks to the Shawn Michaels figure, I now have Dominic Mysterio's arms, because the Randy Orton figure that I opened, which is currently up on my Facebook reels, the Randy Orton figure comes with Dominic Mysterio's torso, upper body, and the neck peg that the head will go on. As I'm having a shit of a time trying to get this fucking hand peg back into Sunman's wrist. Doesn't want to cooperate. I'm trying to be gentle with it because I don't want to break it by any means, but this shield strap does not want to go over his arm, so I'm going to leave that alone. But either way, I got his shield on. I'm going to arch his chest back a little bit because I know I'm going to be putting him on that stand. And this is what I'm talking about, where the stand comes into play. There, it clips right around his fucking waist. And then you got Sunman. Looking fucking angelic as fuck. Look at that shit. Got that dope ass impressive wingspan. have him face off against Pighead, or even for the purpose of putting him on a shelf, you could display the villain right in front of the hero. And just to oversell and overbump, you can also have the 2005 Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. But I gotta say, honestly, now that I officially have Sunman and Pighead out of the packaging, I could honestly say out of every Masterverse figure I've opened up on this show, these are two of the most impressive that I've seen. A lot of people have been very critical over head sculpts, and the collectors are always the experts. Well, I could have done a better job. No, you fucking couldn't. But I honestly feel these versions of Pighead and Sunman are absolutely sick. He looks dope as fuck. Both of these figures look way better than their Origins counterpart. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that in here real quick, because it's one thing I was actually thinking to myself. I was talking about earlier, but I never got a chance to really fully finish or get into it. But like, there you see Sunman in the Origins line. Only Sunman's like wings kind of look extremely shitty, but given the resources of what they had to work with back in the day, especially when you look at Sunman and the Rulers of the Sun originally starting off as a bootleg line that was meant to be blended in with Masters of the Universe and similar scale toys. Their budget was limited. They got what they got with what they were able to afford in order to make the product. So this Sunman figure is based on the vintage 80s Sunman figure. This Pighead figure is based on the 80s Pighead figure that did come out. And the one thing I can say is, doing a quick comparison between the Origins figures and the Masterverse counterparts, is that Sunman looks way fucking better. This Origins version, to me, doing a visual comparison, is like if they had Sunman in the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe Filmation cartoon. This is how Sunman would come across in the cartoon. You know what I mean? So it's like he's got his wings, but it looks like a really long ass collar. You know what I mean? Cape. It looks like he has a little too much starch in his fucking cape. So it doesn't come across as wings. It doesn't come across as angelic as fucking this does. Like, that's a beautiful fucking wingspan. You know what I mean? And I opened Stratos already, and Stratos has his wings on his arms and shit, but that just looks fucking great. And, spoiler for myself, if Sunman's wings look that impressive, I can't wait to open up Motherboard, because she's going to have a fucking 2-foot wingspan when she's opened up and fully extended. That's going to be fucking sick. But another thing I wanted to point out is that there's an alternate head on this Sunman, because basically with the 80s Sunman figure in the Origins line, it's based on what the 80s original bootlegged Sunman looked like. So the Sunman figure, in the 80s, I'm just trying to think what the best way to discuss this. Like, in the 80s, when I look at like black celebrities on television, you know what I mean? And I look at it like this: like, if I'm a 5-6-year-old kid and I'm watching like fucking Different Strokes, right? And I'm seeing Arnold and Willis and whatnot, and Kimberly, and they're all fucking there. And I'm watching Different Strokes, and I'm looking at Arnold, and I'm looking at Gary Coleman and the way Gary Coleman looks. But then I switch channels, and next thing you know, Webster's on. So I'm watching Webster, but the one thing is, like a 5-6-year-old kid, I could tell that like Gary Coleman and Webster have like similar hairstyle. You know what I mean? And then like I look at that in the 80s, and then like rolling into the 90s, I look at like Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and I look at like Will Smith having the fucking flat top. You know what I mean? I look at hip hop artists in the early '90s having flat tops. You know what I mean? I'd go to Burger King and I'd sign up for the Burger King Kids Club because, like, you know, Kid Vid is like telling me, hey, you're going to be super cool if you sign up and join the Burger King Kids Club. So I'd sign up and join the Burger King Kids Club. And next thing you know, I'm fucking learning all about fucking Wheels and fucking Boomer and fucking my man Jaws. You know what I mean? And Jaws had the fucking flat top. He had like the 90s rapper flat top. And that's the thing. Like this alternate version of Sunman, he's got the 90s rapper flat top where the original Sunman figure had like the 80s Gary Coleman hairstyle, and this friggin' Sunman figure, you know, with the fade and whatnot, he's got like the 1998 Sean Puffy Combs going on over here and shit, and you know he looks fucking fresh, and that's the thing, like. This 3-pack of the Rulers of the Sun figure is the only way to get the Sunman with the alternate head. But the funny thing is if you look closely at Sunman's alternate head, and even though Space Sumo's wearing his helmet, the Sunman head is actually Space Sumo's head, just molded in a different color plastic. So, because they got the same flat top for both Space Sumo and Sunman, But yeah, man, overall, I gotta say, very beautiful characters. I mean, they got the same 30 points of articulation that the other Masterverse figures have, you know, so they move and they bend in all the right spots that they're supposed to. They got the double elbows, they got the double knees, and like you see right here, even on scale, there's similar size as the WWE Elite and Ultimate Edition action figures. You can see the Shawn Michaels right there. He's in his familiar HBK pose. But if he was standing up straight right now, you know, I mean, I could even do that. Stand him up straight right now. This Shawn Michaels figure is basically the same size as Pighead. Pighead maybe a half an inch taller, but at the end of the day, between the Ultimate Editions and the Elite figures, a lot of the figures between the Masterverse and the WWE lines, they do share the same similar parts when you break it all down. But there you go. Masterverse, Rulers of the Sun. Rulers of the Sun's inclusion within the Masterverse line. I'm very happy with these figures. I can't put him over enough. He just looks absolutely gorgeous, especially on that stand. Now, these type of display stands are like $10, and you could order them online, but there's other types of stands that you can get, doll stands. I'm sure you can go to Michael's and whatnot, and Hobby Lobby, even though we don't have any in our area, but there's all sorts of display stands for dolls and figures that you can find at those type of shops. But I'm very happy with the Storm Collectibles sign between Stratos, Godlin, and now Sunman. I have 3 of these stands for my figures, and I can't wait to add him to the shelf. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because that Mattel Creations figure is dropped and he has been officially secured. I got 2 of them motherfuckers on their way. So special shout out to Jim for giving me the assist in ordering a second figure. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a Patreon subscriber. And to everybody else, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the Patreon, at this point, I'm 10 months into Ian vs. Daddy Bones. There's 40 episodes on the YouTube channel. There is over 30 extra bonus videos on the Patreon alone. And just for subscribing for $1 a month, you can start checking out the bonus content that I do exclusively for y'all. And I got plenty in store to round out the summer as we approach not only episode 50 of Ian vs. Daddy Bones, but the 1-year anniversary of Ian vs. Daddy Bones. So seriously, at this point, if you know me personally and you're not subscribed to the Patreon, please take a chance on me. Throw me $1. Better yet, throw me $5. Level up. Get the Original Geeks podcast. Because if you're just checking out Ian Daddy Bones and you're not subscribed to the Patreon, you're missing out on the bonus content. If you're not leveled up to the second tier for $5 a month, you're completely missing out on the Original Geeks podcast. So there's 2 shows, bonus content, and you get your name in the credits. I'm out of this bitch. Cheers, Pete!
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back.
You can't hide and you can't pretend, cause I'll punch you out like Wendy and Glenn. Some things you learn in the school you attend, but the things that I say you can't comprehend.
I ain't no hippie and I ain't no punk. I don't smoke crack and I don't do junk. I'll just sit down and smoke a fat bong, pull out my guitar and sing a fast song. There's your motherfucking American Idol, putting $2 a gallon down the gas hole. 10 million votes for the next asshole. I'll just put on my engineer's hat, sit back and relax while we speed down the tracks. I'll read the book just to spit out the facts.
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back.
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, get stuck cause you never go. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back.
Sneak up your driveway all calm and collective, tripping balls like an underground detective. Need some new shit but my funds are running low. I spend it on weed, shrooms, beer and blow. Living life like a cartoon, just flipping the page as I'm staring down the barrel of a 12 gauge. Shotty to the body and it's got me open, shaking so bad I think my legs are broken. I'm choking on the smoke and coughing up the shot, waking up from a dream. These drugs are high. Chasing strychnine with kind and beer with whiskey. Sing a lullaby and I'm sorry you missed me.
You can't hide and you can't pretend, cause I'll punch you out like Wendy and Glenn.